In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. As you're traveling in life, you're going to find that there is one large mission that you are trying to accomplish, big end goals like finding a wife, having children, having stability, emotional stability, all these different things. But in the process of going on that mission, you're going to have a lot of submissions or side quests that are necessary in order to reach that goal, such as getting a job, finding a career, going to college, graduating, all those different dynamics. In the pursuit of those submissions, you are going to face adversity. And when adversity hits, it is going to provoke every negative emotion in you: fear, uncertainty, potentially depression, and it's going to throw you for a loop. When that happens and you're in that tornado of emotions and uncertainty and fear and anxiety, that's when you get a little taste of life. I say this because our society is built around, basically almost hardwired to believe that life is supposed to be full of good experiences and emotions. And the reality is, it's not. Real life happens in this uncertainty. When things hit you that you don't see coming, that is when you are formed in your character. And the world that we live in today has a drug for everything, has a way to try to regulate your emotions and get rid of the negative experiences of life. You can get on the internet, you can get on social media, you can look at illicit pictures, you can smoke pot, you can drink, you can take psychedelics. What else? You can take psychoactive drugs. You can do all of these different things in order to avoid this little taste of life. Because life happens in those negative feelings, in those negative times, when you can't control how you feel. But this is the thing. In order to really grow and be formed by these experiences, you have to embrace those feelings. It can't be something that you're trying to avoid or run from. Because if you try to avoid and run from negative feelings, you're running from life. You're running from the highs and the lows. And when you're always running to just find the highs, you become a coward. You become someone who's afraid of their own shadow. Anytime a negative feeling pops up, you don't know what to do with it. How am I going to solve it? How am I going to get rid of it? What am I going to do now? What am I going to take in order to make me feel better? When you live like that, you never really embrace adulthood. And for us as men, you don't end up embracing manhood. Because being a boy is all about choosing what is quick, what is easy, and what feels good. It's about short-term goals usurping long-term goals. And when you enter into adulthood, and especially into manhood, you have to be focused on the long-term goals. You have to see that the drudgery of what you're going through has meaning and purpose, because it is going to take you to that next step that is going to allow you the long term. But in the short term, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. It's going to rock you. It's going to make you feel insecure. That's the sort of stuff when you're a boy, you run and turn away from. But when you're a man, you embrace in order to live a full and meaningful life. Now, what provokes this? Number one, we lose something that we already have. Whether that be a woman, whether that be a job, whether that be a career, whatever it is, those feelings get provoked because we are losing something that we already have. Now, what is the underlying current that is dictating all of that negative feelings and emotions? Well, we want to hold on to what we're comfortable with. We like the way that life is. People say they hate change. Change is inevitable. Change is part of life. Uncertainty is part of life. We want to control other people, or we want to control our circumstances or our situation, or somebody does us wrong and it's out of our control. All of those thoughts and feelings are the ways in which we respond to a world that we can't control. But the reality is, as men, we have to see those negative thoughts and feelings and realize I need to rest in God. I need to put myself into God's will and plan. And part of that is not just expecting, but in trusting that when I lose the things that I have in my life, it's okay. It's not going to kill me. I may be emotionally devastated at times, but I can go through that. I can embrace those feelings and I can come out the other side. Number two, we don't get what we want. So we apply to the college that we want to go to, or the law program or medical school, or we shoot our shot with the woman that we think is the perfect one, and we don't get what we want, and it throws us into turmoil. Again, we have to have the vision through faith that closed doors are an answer to prayer as much as open doors. We have to see that mystically, God is not going to micromanage our life and make decisions for us. And he's not going to tell us to turn down this street or turn down that street. But sometimes through his providence and love, he just closes a pathway. Oh my goodness. So many people get upset and they're like, Father, why didn't this work out? Or I did this, or I did everything perfectly. I filled out the job application. I killed the interview, blah, blah, blah. Why did the door close? I don't know. But you know what? Many times that is God's protection. In fact, I had a friend who owns a company, and he says he prays that God would give him the right contracts and that he would lose the bad contracts. He prays for that so that every time that he gets a contract that doesn't go through, or somebody doesn't buy something or doesn't request his services, he says, hey, this is the sort of thing I'm praying for. I'm praying that the wrong doors would close. We have to be mindful in the perspective of faith that these things that do not go our way are okay. And third, we get stuck in the waiting room. We have to wait. We're not sure what to do. We're not sure where to go. We're not sure the decision to make. This often happens with guys in their 20s when they don't have a viable prospect for marriage. They don't know what to do. They're like, what should I do? So they end up doing stupid things. They end up dating a bunch of random girls, or because they're afraid that they're not going to get married, they marry somebody prematurely that is maybe not the best fit for them. We as men do not like unresolved situations and circumstances. This is almost like an Achilles heel of men. We would rather do the wrong thing than just simply wait and do nothing. But the reality is, by faith, as all of these situations require, we have to learn how to do nothing. In all of this, we must remember the words of St. Paul. All things work for the good of those who love and trust in him. See, we have an inclination in our flesh, as St. Paul says, that drives us to anxiety and fear because it's the old man living in us. It's the man who lives within us who doesn't have faith. But in the new man, the regenerated man in Jesus Christ, we need to live with the eyes of faith, which means the path is dimly lit. Being on the journey of faith is walking the path when we're not sure where to go, where everything is covered in fog. We can't see the outcome. We can't see how it's all going to fit together. We don't know where we're going. Sometimes we only get to see a little bit in front of us. We know that our goals and our dreams and our aspirations are out there, but we're not sure how to get there because every situation requires us to navigate it in a way where we don't have everything figured out. Brothers, this is why, and I was just emailing someone this week about it, we must live by these principles. We must live by these principles. We have to see that the Christian path is one of uncertainty. It's one of fear and uncertainty. It's one of anxiety at times. because we don't know and don't see how it is all going to fit together. And because we're not living as a juvenile man, as a boy who wants everything now and wants everything his own way and is willing to shortcut and make decisions that are bad in order to get something going, we live by the principles. When we live in those principles, guess what? We reap principled results. That is the nature of living by faith. So it is, brothers, I tell you, embrace these moments of life, of trudging the path of uncertainty, the path of faith. When you don't see everything going your way, when you don't know how it's going to work out and come together, embrace all of this life, because this is your journey of faith. This is what will define you. Will you take a shortcut? Will you choose the girl who's not a Christian because she's available, she's nice? Or will you stick the path and find the right spouse? Will you run from your negative feelings into the internet and whatever else in order to feel better, like a baby sucking his thumb because he doesn't like, his life? No. You have to be in that mindset where you are willing to go through all of life, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the positive and the negative, because you know your journey of faith is what defines you. And that journey is unseen until you live it. I pray that you would embrace this uncertainty, the fear, the anxiety, the depression, everything that comes along with it, and that you would battle it with true faith, with principled decisions, and with a long-term vision of what you want your life to consist of. God bless you.